మిగతా డేటాని ఏం చేస్తుంది? ఓకే, ఓకే, మిగతా డేటా రిలీజ్ చేస్తుంది అంతేనా? ఓకే. క్యార్ ఏం చేస్తుంది? మనం ఎంత సైజ్ ఇచ్చినా సరే, అది ఎంత లెంత్ ఉంటే అంతే తీసుకుంటుంది. బట్ వర్కర్ is not like that. It will stores the data as per length of the string. Remaining data will be released. Okay, remaining data will be released. So that is the main difference between char and varchar. Is the main difference between char and varchar. So simply, the main advantage of varchar over the char is, it is not fixed. Okay, it will releases the memory, and main thing is it stores up to 65,535 characters, where char stores up to 0 to 255 characters only. Okay, so these are the data types we discussed. These are data types in SQL. So before going to discuss about data types, I told the main, what is the need of data types. Okay, for example, to store names, we need string, because what I said, data is anything that can be stored, so that we have to store the data. Okay, for example, I want to store the string in my laptop or computer. How to use string data type? Okay, for example, if I want to use a numbers, how to use integer data type. In similarly, I want to use such as float numbers, like CGPA. Okay, like CGPA and temperature. Okay, which are which are with decimal point. So I have to need, there is a need of data that is float data type. Okay, so similar to date, to store the date format. Okay, we will use date data type. To store the time format, I have to use time data type. Okay, so these are the data types in SQL. Data is anything that can be stored. Data type is a type of data. It is a type of data. So coming to integers, numbers without decimal point. Okay, so to store such as height, age, and numbers, we will use integers. And coming to float, these are the same numbers with the decimal point. Okay, for example, to store salary or weight or CGPA like 8.9, 7.8, it involves point, that is decimal point. Okay, coming to string, it is a collection of characters such as alphanumeric. So alphanumeric nothing but contain alphabets, also numeric, as well as alphanumeric. For example, when you look at the PAN card number, it contains both strings as well as numbers. Okay, when you see number plates such as bike and car, okay, there we will find both numbers and as well as string. So that means to store the numbers and characters at the same place, okay, we will use string data type. Also, date data type. Okay, to store the date, we will use date data type. It is in, at outside we will write in this format: first date, month, and year. But it is reverse in SQL. SQL accept like this, in this format it will accept like year, month, date. So coming to time, it is hours, minutes, seconds, the same format. Date time includes year, month, dates, hours, minutes, seconds. So boolean involves, there are two values. For example, there are some cases where there is no, where we cannot apply integer string date. For example, if I want to classify a person is pass or fail in the exam, how can we classify using integers? We cannot. We are unable to give pass is 2, okay, fail is 3. But we can define them like pass is 1, fail is 0. That is only two values. Okay, that is boolean, true or false. Okay. For example, if a person, we seen a data type in the Titanic set. So the person may be survived or not. If person is survived, that means we give the value of 1. If the person is not survived, we give the value of 0. So 1 means alive, 0 means death. Okay. So this is the main use of boolean, such as true or false, pass or fail. Okay, died, died or alive. So, to discuss such things, where we need only two values, such as true or false, pass or fail, win or not win. So we will classify like that because there is no half full half win. For example, in yesterday elections, TDP wins. We will apply the boolean value true or one. Okay, other people who failed in elections, who lost in elections, we gave them value of 0. Okay, that is false simply. So that is the main use of data types. Also, we discussed the types of string data. So coming to Java, okay, Python, we will apply direct string data like this. For example, in Java, for example in Python, for example coming to Python. So when you give suppose hi, when you're trying to print a type of a, yes, it is string. Okay, direct str. So for example, I want to convert this is a 67. I want to convert this to string. Okay, I want to convert this to string. Like it is string. That means we are applying directly. Okay, we are applying directly string function. There is directly string. There is a data type string. There is directly string in Python and in Java also. Okay, but when we are going to discuss SQL, there is no direct application of string. There are two variations of string, that is char and varchar. So coming to char. So what is string in general? It is a collection of characters, right? It is a collection of characters. For example, there is a string tranix. So TRONIX, where T is a character, R is a character, O is a character, NIX are characters. Where the string is tranix. To store the this type of characters or alphanumeric characters, we will use a string data type. So there are two variations of string data type such as char and varchar. Char and varchar. So simply there is no much difference between char and varchar. Let's see. These both data types, if you mention char of n and varchar of n while declaring data type. Okay. Okay, while declaring, you will use char of n, varchar of n. Char of n simply stands for it stores up to length of size n. Okay, for example, if I mention char of 10, that means it will store up to length 10. Okay, for example, if it is char of 6, if it is char of 6, we will simply mention such as trans. That means tranix is length of 6 characters. So char data type allows 6 characters. Okay. And varchar of 6. So that means what I want to say is, for example, if it is char of 5. What is the meaning of char of 5? Up to 5 only. It will not store more than 5. Okay. If I given tranix, will it accept? Because tranix is 6 characters, so it will not accept. So what I mean to say is both char and varchar will not allow the size more than the specified size. Okay, they will not allow both char and varchar. Okay, both char and varchar, they will not allow the length more than the specified size. Okay, it will store up to n only, it will not store more than n, it will store up to capacity only. Okay, now what is the main difference between char and varchar is, so let's suppose char of 10, that means it will store up to length of 10. Coming to varchar of 10, it will store up to length 10. So here we will find difference, that is, for example, if I given Kiran, Kiran is length 5. Kiran is length 5. It will store up to 5 characters. Okay. And or 5 places or 5 bytes. Remaining length, that is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It will also store by using spaces, by using white spaces. But coming to varchar is not like that. It will store up to Kiran and remaining space it will be released. Remaining space it will be released. What is the main difference between char and varchar is, char of 10, that means it stores up to length 10. It will store up to, for example, if I given Kiran, it will store up to length 5. Remaining space, it remaining space also will be stored. How? Means by giving the space characters or white spaces. But varchar is not like that, it will stores up to length of the string. Remaining 5 bytes, that is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, it will be released. It will be released. Okay, for example, if there is 100 GB, okay, for example, for char there is 100 GB, I used only 50 GB. Okay, what is the remaining space? 50 GB. But in 50 GB also used. Okay, so result in 0 GB. That means out of 100 GB, entire 100 GB it will be used. Okay, what is the, where the remaining 50 GB going? It is used with white spaces. But coming to varchar is not like that. For example, there is 100 GB. If I used 50 GB, so what is the remaining? Remaining space is released. That means it results in 50 GB. So that's why most of the cases we will use varchar only, because to minimize the data usage. Okay, to minimize the data usage, I will use most of the times varchar only. Okay, that is the main difference between char and varchar. So so coming to interview point of view, this is an important question. They will ask like, what is the main difference between char and varchar? So char, it is, char stands for character. Simply, it is fixed. Because why I am saying fixed is, even you give any length of this string, but it will store up to size. Okay. For example, there is a length of, for example, there is char of 100. If I give hello, okay, it will store entire 100 characters. Okay, so I given string 5 characters only, that is hello, HELLO. But what is the size of the char? 100. It will store entire 100 characters. It will store up to hello. Remaining space also it will be stored by using spaces. But coming to varchar is not like that. It will store 5 characters. Remaining 95 bytes or 95 characters will be released. That is the main use of char and varchar. And simply, what's the varchar? In the definition, it is a variable character. Okay, it is variable. It is not fixed, right? It depends on the length of the string. Also, char stores up to 0 to 255 bytes, very less. But it will store up to 0 to 65535 characters. Okay. So I classified the data such as Aadhaar number as integer, PAN number as string, PIC number as a string, pass or fail as boolean, CGP is a float. All right. Now I'm asking to the students who are attending offline, online. So what is the main difference between char and varchar? What is the main? What is the main difference between char and varchar? At least try to reply in the chat box if you are unable to speak. Or otherwise you can unmute yourself. Now what is the difference between SQL and MySQL? SQL. Okay. 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 See, for example, if Python is a language, if Python is a programming language, what is the compiler we will use? For example, is a Python is a programming language. What is the compiler we will use? Ideally, or simply compiler, right? For example, if Java is a programming language, what we will use? Either compiler or NetBeans or Eclipse. Okay. Similarly, if a SQL is a programming language, if SQL is a programming language, the compiler is MySQL. Understand? SQL is just a language. It is not a. It not stores our data. Just it is a programming language. But to execute the language, we will use MySQL. Okay. Python is a programming language. To execute this Python program language, we will use Python IDLE, Integrated Development Environment, or Python compiler simply. To execute Java, it is a programming language. We will use NetBeans or Eclipse. Simply to execute SQL, we will use compiler that is MySQL. Okay, MySQL simply. So, what is the difference between database and DBMS? What is the difference between database and DBMS? Hmm. Okay. Mm. Okay. All right. So best. So this is the example what we discussed, right? Okay. So simply some people missed it. So I'm explaining again. Simply. Mm, so correct. For example, this is a laptop. This is a laptop. Suppose this is a laptop. This is a laptop. So I want to send hi, or I want to send good morning to my friend. I want to send good morning to my friend. Okay. Can I say to laptop, hey, send good morning to my friend? It is possible. It will not send. What I will use? I will use keyboard. I will use keyboard. With the help of keyboard, what I will do to interact with laptop? What language I will use? English. I will use language English. I will use language English. In similar way, in similar way, in similar way, there is database. So in similar way, there is database. Okay, there is database. I want to store the data. I want to store the data. I want to add such as I want to add the details of employees. Okay, I want to increase the salary of a employee. I am unable to directly manage the database. So I will use one software. So that is called DBMS. Okay. In which language I will use SQL. So this is the SQL. So this is English. Sorry, this is English. This is English. Okay. And this is the SQL. This structure of the query language. Okay. Now, one of the DBMS is MySQL. There are many softwares, right? To execute Python. Python compiler is there. Okay. Many different websites. Program is. For example, to execute Python compiler, how many are there? Program is compiler, GDB compiler. Okay. Visual Studio, many compilers are there. So similar to execute SQL, there are many DBMS. Okay, so one of them is MySQL. One of them is MySQL. Other are Oracle. Other are SQL Server. Other are SQL Server. There are different compilers. So now, so it is not a compiler, it is a software. It is like a database management system. Okay. Now tell me what is the difference between SQL and MySQL? Okay, good. Okay, what is the difference between SQL and MySQL? MySQL is DBMS simply. Okay, SQL is just language. ఇప్పుడు చెప్పండి ఏం చెప్తారు? Hmm. Okay, okay, right. So I will search. This is a very important question. I will elaborate this. So coming to, so what is database? Simply tell me what is database? It is a collection of data. Okay. It is a collection of data stored in stored in organized manner. Okay. So now coming to what is MySQL? It is a d- database. It is a database management system. Okay. It is a software. It is used to manage the database. It is open source. What is meaning of open source? For example, I will say Python is a open source. That means it is free. Anyone can download it. Anyone can work. Anyone can use it. For example, YouTube is a open source. That means anyone can use. So MySQL is also open source. Anyone can use it. Okay, MySQL. It is used to manage the database. What is the meaning of manage? Okay, in how many terms we can manage, such as add, right? Add the data. Okay, update the data, delete the data, retrieve the data. Okay, retrieve the data. Okay, clear comes under delete only. Remove comes under delete only. Join. Okay, join the data. Okay, these are different operations. These are different operations. This is the MySQL. Now tell me, what is SQL? Okay, structured query language. Okay, structured query language. It is used by MySQL to interact with the database. Are you clear, or do you have any doubts? Simply, Python is a programming language. Python ideally is a compiler. Java is a programming language. Eclipse is a compiler. So similar to SQL is a programming language, MySQL is a compiler or software. Okay. So there are many DBMS such as Oracle SQL Server, but MySQL is one of the software. It is a database management system. Okay. Now, if you have any doubts, feel free to ask. Is this definition clear, or do you have any doubts? Clear? Now there are different types of DBMS. So what are types of DBMS or RDBMS? So why we are calling DBMS as RDBMS? Yes, because what is relational databases? Okay, data is stored in the form of tables. What is non-relational databases other than tables? So we are dealing with tables. That's why we are calling DBMS as implicitly as RDBMS. This is DBMS only, but we are implicitly calling RDBMS. Okay, are you clear? For example, we have the one name in public, but when we go to home, they will call with nicknames because you are also the person. But when you go to public, you are the main person. But when you go into the home, okay, they are implicitly called as a nickname with a nickname. Are you clear? So there are different types of RDMS. What are different types of RDBMS? MySQL, SQL Server, PostgreSQL, Oracle. Oracle. Okay. So these are different types of RDBMS. Okay. There are such as IBM Lite, etc. But SQLite also there. But this MySQL and Oracle are the most famous one in the world. That means many companies, so many big tech companies are using these two softwares MySQL and Oracle. So we are going to discuss these two database management systems in depth. Okay, any doubts? That is the main thing. So what is the language used by all these RDBMS? SQL. Now there is a small question. All this DBMS uses the language SQL only. Okay, there is small syntax difference in each DBMS, but everything is same. There is small syntax difference. For example, in this first year, you have worked in a company which uses MySQL. Okay, which uses MySQL. For example, when you are promoted, they said that hey, there is a Oracle database in our company. Okay, no need to fear about that. Why? Because everything is same. There is minor changes in syntax, but everything is same in Oracle as well as MySQL. Okay, everything is same. Everything is same, but there is this minor changes. There is small syntax changes in each DBMS regarding SQL. That's it. But everything is same. Okay. So these all languages use the SQL. Okay. For example, what are the compilers used by Python, such as ideally, okay, right? Visual Studio, right? Anaconda, right? Jupyter Lab, Spider, Tani, Tani, right? So similar to Python, there are many compilers, or there are many IDLEs, integrated development environment. Okay. In similar to Python, there are many compilers. So in similar to SQL, there are many softwares. MySQL, SQL Server, PostgreSQL, Oracle SQL. But there are minor changes, minor syntax changes in each one. Okay, there is only 5 to 10% changes, but everything is same. Okay, so that's why we will use MySQL and Oracle in our course, because these two databases are most famous in the world. Most of the companies use only Oracle and MySQL. 75% of the companies use MySQL and Oracle. So, for example, if you worked in the company with a MySQL, when you're promoted, there is the people said that we have to use Oracle because we are using MySQL. No need to worry. Just it takes 2 to 3 days time to work on it. Okay, because everything is same, every concept is same. Okay, that is the main thing. So this is the okay. This is the concept. Now tell me what is the difference between MySQL and SQL? Okay, okay. So that's it. What is the meaning? What is the SQL first? What is MySQL? Tell me. What is the difference? Okay, it is a software. Okay, what is the main purpose of MySQL? Okay, it is a database management system. It is used to manage the database. It is a software. Okay, it is a open source. What is the meaning of open source? It is free. Anyone can download it by using the browsers. Anyone can download. We will say Python is a free. That means anyone can use Python. Okay, are you clear? What is the meaning of not free? We have to pay something, or we have to take license to use. Okay, but it is free and open source. Okay, that is the main difference between. So what is the SQL means? It is a language used by MySQL to interact with database. Okay, now tell me what is the difference between MySQL? What is MySQL? Mhm. Yeah, can say like that, but it's that is a programming language. We are using the compiler. So here we have to use the term software. Okay, we have to use the term software because when you when you go to other languages such as Java, Python, there are lines of code, but in my SQL there is a single line. For example, take a Python. Okay, there is 25 lines of code. Take Java, 100 lines of code. All lines are compiled by compiler, but there is no all lines here. Only single line. Okay, so we are calling it as a DBMS, database management system. It is a software. Simply, it is a software. Yes. Excellent. Yes, excellent. So MySQL stores data, and SQL is used to read, not to read, but also modify. Okay, SQL is used to read, but not only read. It can add the data, update the data, delete the data. Okay, not only reading purpose. Okay, that is the main use of MySQL. For example, in Python, you will use files, right? You will read the files, you will write the files, you will display the content of the files in Python. File concept complete అయిందా? ఫైల్స్ రీడ్ చేస్తున్నారా? డిస్ప్లే చేస్తున్నారా? Okay, we are writing also into the file. We are writing something. Okay, that means that is the main purpose. Okay, so that's it. I will send the video. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Okay, there is another batch in the evening session. You can also attend. సో ఈవినింగ్ ఇంకొక బ్యాచ్ ఉంది, మీరు అటెండ్ అయితే అటెండ్ కాండి, లేకుంటే లేదు, అది మీ ఇష్టం.